The masculinity drought in Genshin Impact is over, people! Immediately prior to Update 2.2, in the midst of excitement about Surumi Island, Wolfhounds, and the rerun of Tartaglia, Arataki Itto dropped out of nowhere, and the collective ovaries of the Genshin Impact community simultaneously exploded. Or so I'm told. Since then, there has been an absolutely massive number of social media posts about this guy, becoming the #1 most highly anticipated character in Genshin Impact in under 3 days. But is this character deserving of the hype that he's received? Yes. More information about the character is now available, and today we are going to be reviewing the stats, constellations, and pure fuckability playstyle of Arataki Itto. Starting with his Ascension Materials. Unfortunately, you aren't going to be able to pre-farm everything for Itto just yet. His primary Ascension material is the Riftborn Regalia, a broken horn obtained by defeating a Golden Wolf Lord, an enemy that isn't currently in the game. Judging by the description, the Wolf Lord will be a powerful addition to the Rift Hounds. What's written about the Wolf Lords is that the great alchemist Gold mass-produced these malformed wolf packs, almost as if by accident, like shrunken drawings on sheets of paper, and the horns on this one represent its authority to command its dark brood to dissolve space itself. He also needs beetles and slime. In total, you'll need this many of each of these resources to get him up to level 90. But only this much to get him up to level 80, don't be scared. For talent books, he's just set to use Scrolls of Elegance, obtained from the Violet Court's Thundering Valley domain, just south of Amakane Island. And rest assured, you will want to max this guy out, because he is going to be a seriously strong main DPS unit, focused on building up damage bonuses that he unleashes through his unique charge attacks. Hilariously enough, Itto's base attack stat will only be 191, the second lowest of all the 5-star characters. That's right, Big Bad Oni Man gets beaten out by Chi-Chi. But before you start being worried, you know who's the first lowest? Hu Tao, well known as one of the highest DPS units in the game because of her HP-based attack buffs. Similarly, Itto becomes much stronger based on his defense, which at level 90 is a whopping 930, the highest in the game. And his Ascension stat is crit rate, reaching 24.2% at max level. This man has a crit rate circlet in his back pocket for free. He also boasts a respectable 13,000 health stat. But now, let's talk about his skills. At the core of Arataki Itto's design lies his charge attack mechanic, Superlative Super Strength. This super strength is granted to Itto under certain circumstances in stacks which are denoted by small glowing orbs, which float around Itto, as you can see here. Itto can have up to 5 stacks of super strength at a time, and you use super strength stacks to execute a charged attack combo called Arataki Kesagiri. Each Kesagiri slash costs 1 stack of super strength, meaning that at maximum you can unleash 5 strikes, along with a final 6th strike, which deals a huge amount of damage. Everything else in Itto's kit works to support and enhance this mechanic, except for his passive that gives you a 25% chance to get more wood from trees. I don't know what that's about. The first passive talent, Arataki Ichiban, gives the Kesagiri strikes a 10% attack speed buff for each hit in the combo with a cap of 30%. And greatly increases Itto's resistance to interruption. His second passive talent, Bloodline of the Crimson Oni, gives his Kesagiri strikes a damage bonus equal to 35% of Itto's defense. So, how do you get these super strength stacks? Well, there are a bunch of ways. Itto's skill is called Misatsu Zetsugi Akaushi Burst, and using it will create a Geo-construct that shoots forward, dealing damage with a 307% multiplier at level 1 and a 729% multiplier at max level. And while this damage multiplier is truly staggering, Akaushi's main purpose is actually to generate super strength stacks. The Geo-construct Akaushi will taunt foes for 6 seconds, and every time he's attacked by an enemy, he'll generate a stack of super strength, with a 2-second cooldown. The duration he lasts for is only 6 seconds, so it's likely he'll only generate 2 or even just 1 stack in this manner, but you also gain a stack from the initial skill damage, and another when Akaushi leaves the field. So 4 stacks are pretty easy to gain through this method. You can also gain a stack of super strength by simply landing a hit with the 4th swing of Itto's normal attack combo. And while that sounds like it could be clunky and difficult at first, Itto's final passive talent, Warrior's Burden, lets his attack combo persist even if it's interrupted by his skill or a dash, so dodging opponents' attacks won't stop you from landing that 4th hit. And finally, let's talk about the meat and potatoes, the creme de la creme, Itto's Burst. Royal Descent, behold, Itto the Evil. Itto's Burst summons his Kanabo, which literally translates into metal stick, but which in this case means his big ass club with spikes, increasing all of his attack speed by 10% and increasing his attack strength by up to 136% of his defense stat. This buff directly affects Itto's base attack power, which means all his Kesagiri damage multipliers are now scaling off of Itto's enormous defense stat. But wait, there's even more! Itto also gains 20% resistance against all damage, and now instead of just his 4th normal attack generating super strength, they all do. His burst mode only lasts for 11 seconds, but something tells me that that's all you're ever gonna need to annihilate your opponents. So how can this guy get any better? Well, his Constellations buff his Kesagiri strikes and his burst mode's damage even further. C1, stay a while and listen up. Itto's burst mode now grants 2 stacks of super strength immediately upon use and 3 more over the next 3 seconds, meaning that you can now extend the number of Kesagiri strikes up to 8 in a single combo if you use proper timing. C2, gather round, it's a brawl. Itto's burst cooldown now gets decreased by 1.5 seconds, and 6 energy is restored for every Geo party member in the team, including Itto himself. This seriously supports a Geo supremacy team, and we'll be getting into that a little bit more later on. C4, Jailhouse Bread and Butter, gives Itto 25% more crit rate in his burst, against enemies that have a lower percentage of health than Itto does himself, which is going to be everyone once you hit them with that baseball bat from hell you've got there. And finally, and this shit seriously breaks my head a little, but C6, Arataki Itto Present, gives Itto's charge attacks a 50% crit damage bonus and lets Itto perform his Kesagiri strikes with a 50% chance of not consuming a stack of superlative super strength. This breaks the limiter on Itto's damage. 50% is by no means low odds, so with C6, Itto will be performing huge Kesagiri strike combos, easily reaching the double digits considering the previous Constellations. At this point, even I'm getting tired of saying how crazy powerful Itto's gonna be, so here's a little break. Did you know that Itto actually lost a fight against Kujo Sara? Yeah, during the time of the Vision Hunt decree, it was Sara who took away his vision, and ever since then, Itto has tried to get a rematch with her. At one point, she actually agreed to the rematch, but after finding out that Itto intended the fight to be a sumo match held in the middle of town, she chose not to show up. Obviously. He apparently stood there all day in nothing but a mawashi, waiting for her. Good thing you don't need brains to be my digital puppet. Now take this and get back to work. Now, personally, I'll be giving Itto that R5 debate club I've been saving up, just on principle. But if you want to play optimally, here are the weapons you'll want to try outfitting your new Oni with. Obviously, 3-star weapons have trashy stats in general, but out of all of them, I'd say Ferris Shadow or the White Iron Greatsword are the best choices. But I won't go into why, because if you give this beautiful man a rat stick like that, frankly, you deserve Guantanamo. Especially because the free-to-play friendly craftable claymore, the White Blind, is actually an awesome choice for Itto. It gives 51.7% bonus defense at max level, and gives further bonuses to both attack and defense when either normal or charged attacks land, which is most of Itto's damage. This sword is going to be awesome at boosting Itto's burst damage. I wouldn't be surprised to see the White Blind doing better than some of the 5-star claymores on Itto. The 5-star claymores that are out right now, that is. Along with Arataki Itto, another powerhouse will be taking the stage in 2.3. Welcome, the Red Horn Stone Thresher. This absolute monstrosity has a crit damage substat of 66.2%, a base attack damage of 608, and has the passive ability to boost defense and then boost normal and charge attack damage by a percentage of your defense. Obviously, this weapon was made for Itto, and it will be disgustingly good on him. So if you're wailing on the weapon banner, you won't be disappointed. Artifact sets right now aren't looking amazing for Arataki Itto, with perhaps the Archaic Petra and Retracing Bolide being marginally synergistic to his kit. But when MiHoYo sets out to build a supercharged character, they do it right. A new 5-star artifact set called the Husk of Opulent Dreams is scheduled to release alongside Itto in 2.3, providing a defense % bonus from the 2-piece set, and an interesting stacking geo damage and defense bonus from the 4-piece. Although there's no word on where we're going to find this artifact set's domain as of yet, there are no signs of a new area opening in 2.3, so it will likely be located somewhere around Surumi Island, probably taking the tutelage Nest Bed of Ambition domain, or perhaps one of those big empty spots on Surumi Island itself. One way or another, I would recommend waiting for 2.3 to farm artifacts for Itto, as it's likely that the Husk of Opulent Dreams will be his best in slot set by a large margin. But if you insist, I would recommend a defense % Sands, a geo damage goblet, and a crit rate or damage circlet depending on your choice of weapons, with crit, defense, and energy recharge substats being optimal. Along with Itto came the announcement of Goro, a 4-star character who is begging to be a support for a Geo Supremacy team. Between Itto's C2 and Goro's skill, which provides buffs based on how many Geo characters are in the party, teams that are rocking that Geo resonance are definitely going to be rewarded for their lack of diversity. So run Itto with Goro or other Geo characters buffing him, and just use the rotation to funnel Geo particles into Itto. For those of you who want to do more than just throw rocks at people, I think Itto will benefit from having supports who can add damage to Itto's normal attacks. Beidou and Xingqiu come into mind, as their bursts trigger on normal and charged attacks. As his defense stat and the shields he generates with Crystallize will make him very tanky, healer characters probably won't be as useful unless you're fighting Rift Hounds, but it obviously never hurts. Videos like this one take lots of time, research, and plagiarism, so if you want to see more videos like this in the future, help me pay all my copyright fines by hitting the subscribe button and rewatching all of my videos 5 times. Or, you know, just the subscribe button. That's enough.